most famous physical therapist on the internet.
Hi, folks. I'm Bob Schrupp, physical therapist.
Brad Heineck, physical therapist.
Together we're the most famous physical therapists on the internet.
In our opinion, of course, Bob.
Today we're going to tell you how to stop sciatic pain while sitting.
Well, this is amazing, Bob, because those sciatic pain and sitting don't always line up, and it's not a good combination unless you do this.
Right.
How is that for a leader?
So who is this based upon the work of?
That's a good point. This is right from Dr. Stuart McGill. He's a PhD.
Probably the foremost authority on back pain.
Right. I still like Dr. Oh, he's not Dr.
Right. McKenzie?
Yeah,
Robert
but
McKenzie.
I'm really starting to I like Dr. McGill the more I study him.
Yeah.
So anyways, he goes specifically through a system on how to work getting rid of your sciatica while you're sitting. So
Sure.
There's a couple steps prior to the exercise that he specifies, and I'm sure he would agree with this, is sitting and sciatica oftentimes don't go together well because of one primary reason. Wouldn't you agree?
Right.
It is posture.
Right.
People have a posture that oftentimes is slouched and they're not aware of
Yep.
it. Yep.
And what this does is it puts pressure on your disc. So if your sciatica is being caused by a herniated or bulging disc,
Right. And we're going to show him on the model. Can you
that'll
see that,
make
Sam?
it worse.
Yep. So
Well, we'll show it on the other model too.
Yep. So we're looking at the spine, the hip, and typically right here is a common area, L4, L5, L5, S1. And right here, this red represents the bulge. You can see this bulging and pinching the poor nerve, which
And
creates the pain.
It's worse when you sit like this,
Yeah.
when you sit bent.
Yeah, and actually the other model shows
Right,
that very
right.
clearly. So what we want to do is correct your posture, and it's not that hard to do. First thing you want to do, especially if you sit all day or either in a vehicle, a truck, at a computer workstation, simply use something for a lumbar support so you get arch in your back and support it. We've got a number of options. The first thing,
I'd say the rolled towel is
yeah,
probably the first
take
one.
a towel, roll it up, put some tape on it, and put it back in your chair. And it's typically right around the belt line.
Yes.
It may be up or down a little bit, but you'll know it's the right position because it's going to clearly feel like good
Why
support.
I like using a rolled towel, Brad, is because people are built differently. You might have noticed.
Yeah.
And some people with a large buttock,
Yeah.
they need a large rolled towel.
Yeah.
Now,
'Cause-
you're of a slighter build, so you just need a smaller towel.
Right. And also, it might be even a thin person that has a chair that's wore out.
Yes.
And there's a big hole
Yeah,
in,
it depends on the chair you're in.
Yep, so-
like if you're in a recliner, you might need a really thick towel or a pillow.
Yeah,
throw pillow.
sometimes a throw pillow works good in a recliner. So whatever it is, find the right
thing that's going to correct your posture.
Yeah. And when you lean into it, it should feel good.
Yeah.
Take pressure off and pain off the leg. Here's some examples. Once you find out you want something more permanent,
Right.
and it happens to be a towel roll, you may want to go to, like this is a McKenzie roll. They last longer. They work better. They have a strap on it to hold on.
They look a little bit better.
Yeah, they look better too. So
But
anyways.
you could look at the towel and say, this is about the size that fits me, and then you can order a support that's about that same size.
Yeah, they give you the diameter.
Yeah.
So we don't want you spending on money that's something that does not work for you.
Right. Brad, we probably should say from the start, too, that when you have sciatica from a bulging disc or a herniated disc, you probably should avoid sitting as much as possible.
Right.
The problem is there's people that can't.
Right.
I mean, when you drive to work, you're going to stand in your car.
Right.
At work, too. Sometimes
Right.
you can stand, but sometimes you can't.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah, absolutely. This is a key, a must in regards to sciatic and correcting it. So do not skip that part. Now,
Right.
the next step is the nerve. Let's say the bulge actually starts to correct itself because you got better posture,
Right.
but the nerve can actually get scarred down in there from scar tissue in the healing process, and that can be a problem.
Yeah.
So we're going to show you, give you a little education here.
So we got two vertebrae here. 1, 2. The disc is in between. This is the disc that actually is bulging or herniated. I'll show you that right now. I don't know if you can pick that up here we go. It's a normal disc. Now it goes so
Right in
far.
here.
I don't know if you can see it popping out there,
Right there.
and it's pushing right on the nerve.
Yep. So now that nerve, if we can take that nerve and what we call floss that nerve, in other words, take the nerve and bring it forward or out and back and break up that scar tissue.
Yeah, imagine that right up in this area here where it comes out of the hole, that it's all scarred down.
Yep.
And now every time you move, it pulls on that and it bothers you. So we're trying to
Irritates it.
floss it
Yep.
or move the nerve so that it becomes more loosened
Right.
and more tolerable.
And it just so happens that the exercise or the technique to do that is in a seated position.
It is. But you do need a specific type of chair
Right.
for this.
So, and nothing real fancy. We just need a chair that has an opening here because
Yep.
your leg has to swing through. You notice I have a cushion here. Or you could use a pillow because you need a chair that your leg can swing through, and this is
I would
too
need
short.
a couple cushions.
Yeah, when you're a tall drink of water like Bob, you might want to get up on a table if you had a
Right.
solid table.
Yep. Yep, exactly.
But in my case, I can just put this peach trace cushion. You can use a pillow, whatever you want. Now I can swing through,
Yep.
and that's important. So once we get that established, we're going to actually avoid the posture part with our back to do this exercise. We're going to start by bringing the leg underneath. I'm not going to get into the mechanics too much
Right.
of why this flosses the nerves. It has to do with the nerves going from the toes all the way up into your spinal cord to
Yeah.
your head. It's all one long chain, actually. But I'm going to, as I bring this foot underneath, I'm going to slouch a little bit, and I'm going to bring my head down, chin to my chest, my sternum.
So at the same time, you're doing
Yep,
both.
all this happens together.
Right.
And then and you do this slowly. You're going to come up, and as the leg comes up,
The head comes up,
yep,
and you're going to extend it with the neck.
yep, and you arch the back, and then you actually pull your toes up towards
towards
your
you.
nose. And then we're going to go back down, and all this kind of, it takes a little practice sometimes.
Yeah.
One thing it does help if you point your toes down here. It's a small point, but it can be helpful. And we round out. Now, you might feel it, especially when you go up like this and when you pull your toes back. If you feel when your toes come up and you feel it back in your belt line area, it's a very good indication that that nerve needs to be loosened up. But don't get too aggressive. If it hurts there, don't pull really hard.
No.
Because if it irritates it, and you go too aggressive, you might be in pain for the next few days.
Yeah, you are going to be swearing at us if this does not work. You really want to take it gently with this.
Right.
So
right.
the rule of thumb, I believe, Brad, was to do 10 of them.
Exactly right.
See don't do any more that
Right.
day.
Yep.
And then the next day, see how you did.
Yep.
And if it bothered you, you need to do other things and avoid that.
For a week, he
For a
says.
week,
Yep.
yes.
For a week, give it a week. If things go away within a week, then you can go back and try it again and see what the response is the next
Right.
day. And don't be so aggressive with it.
Yeah.
Be very gentle. You'll
Ideally,
learn.
if there's no pain, increased pain next day, it's just the same,
Yep.
then you can keep doing it.
Right. Exactly. And if it feels a little bit better, then what he says, actually do it throughout the day
Sure.
a number of times. Let me see. I wanted to get right exactly how he worded that. I think it's 3 times a day.
Yeah.
Once you know it feels good. But I do want to mention, if this hurts after the first day, he gives an alternative. And I don't think we've mentioned this on other
right.
videos.
Doing the prone position?
Yeah, or did
Yeah.
we?
I think we mentioned
We
it.
did. So
Yeah.
you're going to actually lie down.
You get Brad?
It's not that important. But lie here for about 3 minutes.
This is if you have pain, right, Brad? If you're having pain from this maneuver,
Yep.
then try this instead for a while.
Right. So you just lie like this for about 3 minutes, and then you get up, repeat the exact same
Sure.
flossing, 10 repetitions. And then he's actually saying lie back down again right after that for 3 minutes, and then see how it responds.
Right. It's a good test, and if it feels better, you're doing the right thing.
Right. Then you can eventually, hopefully, avoid lying down and go back to the original that after the scar tissue gets broke up. If both ways it doesn't respond well to,
Yeah, hold off.
Yeah,
You're gonna-
it's not for you. It's not going to work.
Right.
There may be another reason.
And Mr. Stuart McGill, Dr. McGill,
Yep.
he's a big advocate of walking.
Right.
along with it.
Exactly right.
So try to add a walking program to your regiment.
Which we're all going to have, what Stuart McGill has, a modified walking
Right.
program specific for sciatica. So we're going to make that next week. It'll be out in a couple weeks.
And we got our giveaway, right? We got our giveaway, and if you go to our giveaway section, we are giving away a Bob and Brad.
Ah.
This is our massage gun for the athlete.
Sure.
It's our most high-powered gun.
Oh, yes. It goes
So-
in the hyper mode.
Yeah, and it's got 5 attachments, and I haven't seen this anywhere else. It's got a metal head.
Stainless steel
Stainless
bomb.
steel that really penetrates deeply. And it's got, like I said, 5 speeds, and it penetrates very deep. And go to bobandbrad.com, go to the giveaway section, or also go to
Facebook.
Bob and Brad on Facebook.
Sure. Pinned to the top of the page. There are other heads, not
Yes.
so aggressive, just so
Yep.
you're aware of it. And we have podcasts.
Yeah, check
going
out our
out soon.
podcast.
We have one with Dr. Stuart McGill. It's
That's-
over an hour long, isn't
Oh,
it?
it's fantastic.
Yep.
I know on YouTube it's got over 200,000 views.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean,
People really do appreciate hearing what he has to say. He's from Canada. I mean,
Yeah.
Canada. Sorry, Stuart.
his son's in New York, and he wasn't able to visit his son for a year and a half because of COVID.
Sure,
So-
sure.
Oh, well.
Did you see that he made a joke, something about people in the United States? So I know he's got a little humor.
Yeah, oh,
So
he
I knew
does.
I could.
He's a funny
I
guy.
could say that, and he'd be
So.
fine with it.
All right. Thanks for watching,
Be
folks.
careful.